do you think about the whole presentation of the World Cup on TV?
Oh, this is going to be the best bit here.
No, I thought the pundits, the pundits are awful.
Is it that
Pundits are awful.
Is it just that we're in that older generation where we had real men talking about football and it was interesting, and we can't deal with this new, let's get a few birds in that we've never heard of talking about football? And I'm no disrespect, I'm sure they know a bit about football, but
Yeah,
you know, it
some
don't.
of them, to be fair, some of them have had 100 games. Or
They've had 100 games for a women's team in a women's league, which is different standard, and it's something that if I go to football, I didn't start watching football to watch women play football. I've done it because I was interested in school, and we play. And I'm not knocking a women's game. The women's game is great for young girls who want to play football, but I just think mainstream media now are throwing so many young women. Probably because they're a bit good looking, they're nice or whatever, but I, as a football fan, want to see a player that I remember playing, talking about the game, and I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, I always bring the Billie Jean King thing up. What she done for tennis was better than anyone's ever done. The equality of it all, and she built women's tennis up to another level. But one thing she never done was poke her nose into the men's game.
Yeah.
And she never, ever spoke about the men, and then when she come back to Wimbledon later on, she would talk about the women's tennis and everything else. And I think, that was when everyone kind of kept their feet on the floor, and she had a fair case because they were filling the stands out the same as the men were.
Yes.
The American soccer team, they were getting bigger crowds for the girls than they were for the boys.
Yes.
So they got to get paid. That has got to be understood. But get them to come on and, two girls come on and tell Muhammad Ali and Cassius Clay and to fight Frazier and say, well, don't you think you should be doing this and that? Cassius, and he go, well, we'll soon see, come up to my room, we'll have 5 rounds, because you won't last 5 rounds. But, they're the same kind of thing, and they're going on there, and they're talking tactics and all that. With these not even the men know about the tactics, so there ain't no tactics.
I think the funny, the poor woman with the blackboard and the chalk in the kitchen.
That was a bit unfair.
I mean, they set her up. I think someone in ITV had a little plan to go, look, we'll give her that little platform, and I know the memes that are going to come out afterwards, so we'll give her that.
It's ridiculous, the chalk and all of that.
The chalk and drawing circles and all that. I mean, even Thomas weren't doing that in the England dressing room. You know what I mean? So, but and these ladies have got great knowledge about football, and they've worked in the women's game, and that's great. But as a fan and as a supporter and as people who watch football all the time, I know I'm only saying what every bloke wants when he's sitting looking at the telly, he's going like that, right? And that's not knocking them. No. That's just because you want to see a Mick Shannon, a Kevin Keegan talking about football, and Alan Hudson, or the players of look at the players we've had in the last 20 years that we could have had punditry talking about football. And that is, it's just this woke thing and this diversity thing is spoiling the actual reality of life in some ways. Because I know ITV can go, oh yeah, but we've done the right thing. We put 3 women on there for that game, and great. Them 3 women, and most fans have turned off. I'd like to see your viewing figures for them games when you had 3 women doing your whole presentation. Right? And the other thing is a woman commentator. Why can't we have, if you've got to have a woman commentator, why can't we have an option to have either a man commentating, where you press the red button, and at the end of it, see who's got the viewing figures, and then just, if you want it going out to the people that are watching football for them, give them that option. No one's knocking the ladies, right? They've got their own game, they've got so much opportunity in their own game now. That's great, but come on, we go football to meet the lads, we go football to have a drink with the boys, give us a break here.
Do they not give you the opportunities to do the TV, Alan? Because you'd be very good at it.
Oh, I've been on Sky. Yeah, I had a falling out on Sky. Yeah, I had a problem. I was actually did it on an afternoon. England were playing in a World Cup qualifier or something, and I had the pleasure of being next to the great Sir Tom Finney, who was an absolute gentleman.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a wow. But the only problem was on the other side of the table was Dave Bassett. And they were saying about how do you think they play tonight, this, that and the other. And I haven't really an opinion about how they should play tonight. Play the game simple, play like Bobby Moore played it, play like Alan Ball play it simple, Get a good squad of players together and let them play, And Dave Bassett turned round and he said, I think they should play the same way as they play at their club. Now, Alf Ramsey used to say that. Alf Ramsey, when you went into an Alf Ramsey squad, and he was right. He said, I want you to play for me like you play for your club. Football's no different, and he didn't really talk tactics, and that was, as long as you pick your best 11 players, that's the best advice, and that is the best way to go about it. So he was right about that, But I actually turned around to Dave Bassett and said, what you're actually saying is England should play like Wimbledon. And nobody done what you've done.
Yeah.
Nobody laughed, and I was expecting everyone to go, oh, well, that's funny. I said, well, it is funny because that's funny what he's just said.
Yeah.
How can you play England? How can you get a international team playing like Wimbledon? Wimbledon were a bloody good team.
Yeah, great.
And with some bloody good individuals, but Christ almighty, come on, give us a break here, Anyway, I go into finish the show, go into the thing after where you're taking your makeup off and all this, and I turned over and Harry Bassett is sitting in the corner with Richard Keys, and they were looking at me. And I thought, what have I done wrong here, And they were talking about me having a go at him because they were right pals. And I never got asked on again. And I went to the bridge one day and I said to Peter Osgood, I said, he's a mate of yours, that Richard Keys. And he said, no, he's not a mate of mine. He said, but I know him. He said, he lives near him, not far from me. I said, get his number for me. So I rang him up. I said, why have Chelsea played Arsenal, Chelsea played Stoke, Stoke have played Arsenal? I'm perfect for them jobs. I can tell you a bit about that. And he said, well, no, we're not overlooking you. I said, well, it's funny, it's been about 9 months of football and you. Is it anything to do with you and Dave Bassett? Because what I said on the show, it would be embarrassing for England to play like Wimbledon. I can assure you it wasn't that. Hey, he should have been a politician, the fella,
Yeah.
You're thinking his nose is getting longer as I'm talking about it. I think, why don't you just say, Dave's my mate, you're not my mate. And strangely enough, since Anthony's done so well in international football, him and Andy Gray have had him on the show, and he's come back to me, Anthony, and said, oh, Richard Key really likes you. He thought you were this, that, and that. I thought, well, how many faces do you actually want? And that was my last time on Sky. Never, because one man can do that. They actually can do that. And now when I sit there looking, I swear, if he came in here about 7 o'clock one afternoon with our little corner, Mikael Richards come in, he would have the greatest night of his life. Because everybody would be taking the piss out of him and he wouldn't know it. He's a funny kid, seems a real nice kid, but football, no. And he's got this silly haircut and he comes on with his silly clothes and he was just on there, he's basically representing the country,
Yes.
Well, this is what we should have been doing with Bobby Moore years ago.
He was cruelly.
You know, they kicked him, and then all of a sudden they're doing this with this new breed of, what is it, a comedy?
Yeah.
Well, it's not a comedy, it's a World Cup.
Yeah.
And he was just laughing and joking and saying, well, one of all time, what about Boston then? And that, you, and he, yeah, been all round a bit. They wouldn't have been able to do that if they wouldn't play football with their family. You wouldn't see these places. They got it on a plate. 6 weeks. They go, how long have you been here for? 6 weeks, 7 weeks? Oh, we got to go home tomorrow. As if they're hard done by. They ain't paid a penny. They ain't paid for a flight. They ain't paid for a hotel room. They ain't paid for a drink. They ain't paid for nothing. And they've been flown around. You know,
they probably copped a couple of £100. It's a lovely gig.
Absolutely.
Listen,
mate,
we'd all love it. We'd all jump at it. If you want me to, in fact, I think we should have more women talking about football. Yeah. If that got me the gig, I'll do it.
You get out in about 10 minutes.
But I do find it, and I hate to talk about a kid like that because I'd love to meet him, and even if he see this and phone me up, I say, come and meet me. I'd love to give you a hug. You're a funny kid, and you are funny. But we don't want comedians on the show. You know, we want people to talk about football.